So Scorpio, your December 2025 forecast begins with Venus, the planet of money, but also desire, moving into the most lovely central part of your situation as November came to a close, joining up with your traditional ruler Mars, very much about desire and the thrust of the Sun, all in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is very spontaneous. It's a fire sign. Can be passionate like you, but it also resists containment. It likes to be a free spirit. So when it comes to the Christmas budget and treating people that you're close to, this combination of energies, which will be joined by Mercury again on the 11th, as Mercury emerges from your sign, of course, because of the retrograde, been going between the two, comes back into Sagittarius, which it left on the 19th of November. And that also can just push you to perhaps be as generous as possible to the people that really matter to you. But you've also got some contra influences which are tricky, so I just need to sketch those out for you. But if you're wanting to dive into the festivities, enjoy all the traditional fare to the max, and really have a jolly time, that collective of energy in Sagittarius is giving you loads of permission. But what about the full moon of the 4th? It's in the part of your scope, the 8th house, which is a kind of echo of the energy of Scorpio, but the host Mercury is of course about quick thinking, and it can be about fast conversations. But the opposition between the moon, which isn't particularly happy in the air sign of Gemini, the sun in the fiery Sagittarius, is intercepted by the north node in the more emotional Pisces. And if you do find yourself, perhaps on the end, if you have children, if they're sort of really letting you know what their ideal gifts will be, it could be difficult to resist. But if there's someone around you that you're drawn towards, perhaps in a more alluring way, I think it's important to consider a bit of an old-fashioned dimension, and that is, do you share values with the person that you're finding so glamorous? Because if you don't, however much a fling could be on the celestial cards, there could be a glitch that's not immediately obvious. So if you're wanting to make some grand gestures, splash out, do your very best within your budget to please loved ones, I feel that Saturn and Neptune can be a little bit challenging for you, because if you're breaking your budget and in a way which is going to be costly in terms of paying for it all next year, as you come into January, a real note of reality could make it a little bit difficult to get through. Now, if your relationship situation is going well, that's not really an issue, and your finances are in trim, then why not enjoy all the giving and that goes with Christmas to the maximum. And on the 10th, Neptune does end a retrograde. If there has been confusion around your love life, but moreover limitation or reality that's really struck home over the last couple of years, because Saturn in the 5th house is not a bunch of fun, to be honest. The 5th house is supposed to be about fun, and of course Saturn is much more about the side of life where we have to be very realistic. So if you have met some headwinds around a relationship, or there's been a breakup, or your children have needed a lot of support from you over these last 24 months or so, it wouldn't be a complete surprise. And your traditional ruler Mars is in conflict with Saturn and Neptune through the early parts of this month. And if you are a little bit constrained in terms of what you can spend on people, that's something you can feel quite keenly, which is totally understandable. But I want you to know that Mercury, of course, returns to house 2 on the 11th, but it's on the 15th that things really start to pick up for you, because Mars switches into the 3rd house. That's quicker. It's in the sign of Capricorn, where he loves to be. He's exalted. Now, we are going to have a new moon on the 20th. It is still in that 2nd house. If you have been working really, really hard, particularly as the sun made its way through your sign on doing something more creative, reaching out to people, pitching ideas, or selling stuff that you've created yourself. You may find that your finances do revive over the next couple of weeks. It's just that, like Mars before it, this is a new moon which is conflicted by the limiting Saturn and the dreamy distorting Neptune. So even if money does come in, I would use it rather cautiously. But I have to say, having Venus through to the 24th in your second house means that when it comes to enjoying whether it's the traditional elements of Christmas in terms of the warming drinks, the toddies that go with carol singing, or it's getting together with friends that you really can just feel very comfortable with, you will have an appreciation of those things to a greater extent because of the role of Venus. But once Mars moves, it's moving you out of the more practical dimension of money, second house, your values, second house, but also foundations, second house, and more into actually interacting. And with the arrival of the Sun on the 21st into Capricorn, joining up with Mars and the winter solstice, as you speed into the new year, I feel that you're going to take on the challenge of 2026 in a very plucky way. It's just that Venus, like the new moon and Mars before, is challenged by Saturn and Neptune. So if there is someone that you're trying to get to know as we run up to Christmas, I wouldn't put too much hope into that situation. I think it's important to stay grounded. But once we get to the 24th and Venus moves to join up with the Sun and Mars, I think you're going to be finding life a lot more interactive, a lot more convivial, and you're going to have some brilliant conversations this Christmas, I feel. And some of the people that you encounter can get you away from perhaps the worry of balancing the books, buying gifts for loved ones, or being more concerned about your self-worth and value, and just really enjoying that more chatty, interactive, playful and fun part of the festivities, whether it's traditional games or technology, chatting to people online if you're single. There could definitely be a spark with someone completely different before the end of the year. So there's lots to look forward to. So on the whole, a positive month, but just be conscious that when it comes to joy, Saturn and Neptune are up to mischief this month, and therefore your expectations need to be just lowered a little bit, and don't equate generosity with what you might get back from others, because I don't necessarily think it's going to be quid pro quo. If you've yet to watch your year 2026 deep dive forecast, please see the link below this video. If you've yet to order your personal forecast for year 2026, you can do so now. You'll also get your life roadmap report, which helps you to understand the patterns that are played out in your life so far. The combination of the two will help you to plan your moves in the months ahead so much more effectively. 30% off, free gift of your general, love, Chinese and Indian written forecast for each of the 12 signs. Please see the link below for more.